part of them have been eaten. And it's just, he can't believe what he's seen. And so he goes to look for the cannibs or the Caribs. And as he goes to look for them, when he gets there, he goes to the Canib villages, and when he gets there, he found a bunch of Taino women. Now remember, the Tainos are the enemies of the Canibs. And he gets there, they found, and it's just not Columbus who wrote about this, all these other guys on the trip with him all wrote about it. Dr. Chavez and all these other guys said, we got to the Carib areas, and there were 50 huts of women. And the 50 huts were just Taino women. There was not any Taino men. It was all women. And we rescued the women, and we talked to them, and they said, oh yeah, we are raped regularly, and the Canibs, when we produce children, they take and eat the children. And they gave more details on what happened. This is what one of the doctors recorded. He says, when the Caribbees take any boys as prisoners, they remove their organs, fatten the boys until they grow to manhood, and then, when they wish to make a great feast, they kill and eat them, for they say the flesh of boys and women is not good to eat. So this is what Columbus finds, and these are the guys that went after his guys. So what he does is he liberates the Taino women, gets us 50 huts there, and proceeds to go after the Canibs. And so they attack and destroy the cannibals. Now, it's interesting. This is called the Age of Conquest. And back then, you didn't sit down at a table and have negotiations. You have brutally different worldviews. The Canibs want to kill and eat you, and the other guys don't want to be killed and eaten. Real simple. So what you do is you're going to have a war, and only one side's going to win. So in the Age of Conquest, where you have brutally different sides, there's really only two options you can do when you're in a war. If you win a war, the first thing you can do is you can kill everybody that's on the other side, or you can enslave them, the ones you don't kill. That's the only two options you got. You don't just let them loose and say, now don't eat anybody. That's not a good thing. That's not what you can do. So after the second voyage, Columbus then returns home to report on what he's done in the second voyage. And then he comes back on his third voyage. But on the second voyage, as he returns, he takes some of the cannibals with him. And he shows them to the king and queen and says, shh, this is what's going on. You won't believe this. These guys actually killed and ate my men and the women. And it goes through everything to show what's happened. And then the Tainos actually said, hey, can we go to Spain with you? We want to be where you are. And so some of the Tainos volunteered to go to Spain, and they actually became part of the royal court in Spain. Now, the narrative today is that he enslaved natives and took them as slaves to Spain. He did part of them, the cannibals he took. Actually, he's the guy who rescued native tribes in the Caribbean from being cannibalized. He saved how many different native tribes and groups? And so he's a genocidal maniac that raped women? No, not at all. So the real story is very, very different. Why are we tearing down statues? I mean, the guy really did some good things at a time when the world was very barbaric. We just don't get that in school anymore. One other example, statues being torn down now include statues of founding fathers.